Well, we all know when it comes to the job search, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's why I'm chatting with Anish Majumdar, who is a career coach and expert in the hidden job market. I'm certainly curious what the hidden job market is, but I know Anish has spent over the past 12 years working with thousands of professionals around the world to take the reins of their professional destiny and break free of the necessity of job searching permanently. Webinars, videos, and articles have been all over online. Anish, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Absolutely. So obviously my first question over here is, what in the world is the hidden job market, and why should the folks in transition learn more about it?
Yeah, it's one of those terms, you know, in hiring, like I would say finance, there's a lot of like gobbledygook terms that sound like really complicated, but when you actually break it down, it's not. You know, the hidden job market, it is, 80% of all roles, 90% of all executive roles. It's basically a fancy way to refer to all of the opportunities out there, all of the offers out there that are going to be filled long before a company has a gun to their head and is forced to put it into a job posting. That is a worst case scenario for every possible business out there. I say that not just as a career coach, but as a business owner. Anything that I can do to avoid that by bringing people in a different way, talking to them a different way, letting them see what's going on in a different way, I'm going to do. And when you rise up in your career, there comes a point very early on, whether people realize it or not, where it doesn't matter how experienced you are, you're not going to find your quote unquote dream job in a job posting. It's way more likely that you're going to be able to create it, though, by diversifying your approach a little bit. And you know, just like we're talking about demystifying this hidden job market, demystifying what networking is and what relationship building is the easiest way for anyone to start tapping into this other flow that, in my opinion, you can't afford to make this not an essential part of what your strategy is right now, because otherwise there's no way you're going to spend the rest of your life dying on the vine looking for someone to create Shalom's perfect opportunity. You know what I mean? You're going to find it by talking to people and by identifying what that pain is.
Music to my ears, absolutely. I talk all the time about networking and why it's so important, and especially as you talk about this hidden job market. So, I mean, I'm really curious. We see jobs advertised everywhere. So many people that I talk to all the time over coffee, they're telling me they're searching for jobs, they're applying for jobs, Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, all these websites, there's job boards, job postings, interviews, everywhere we look. So why is it so hard to find a great job?
I think, you know, a lot of times it's almost a question of two good parties trying to do something good, but because of a misunderstanding, they don't get there. To give you an example, maybe I'm running a business and I have a desperate need for, you know, our marketing strategy has fallen completely apart. We are in desperate straits. Well, I'm not going to tell Monster and Indeed the details of my company. So when I tell my HR people to put out a posting, I might say, hey, grab a couple of other postings, put something together, bring some marketing people. That's fine. But the problem is, if you're a candidate for that and you spend, let's say, hours, you know, aping your resume and your thing to come up with basically what is essentially a bunch of lies on a job posting, so you get the role. But what respect are you going to get from me, the CEO? What oversight are you really going to get? If you're not smart enough to really understand what is truly going on here and play to that, there's no way that we're going to connect. And this is a big problem why otherwise wonderful candidates simply lose out in the job process. By the time you find that old job posting and this old pain that has been at this company, I'm no longer dealing with the purity of the problems in the business. Now what I'm dealing with is all of the other crap, all of the other months of other candidates, the other criteria that I have. It's very, very, very difficult. The older the problem is at a company, the less likely it is that you're going to be able to cut through the nonsense and the chaff to actually go in there and really identify it. So a lot of times what happens is good people get rejected simply because I'm no longer looking for the perfect solution for my business and the right person with the right perspective, short and long term. Now I've talked to 50, 100, 150 other people, and now it's just a cluttered noise of nonsense, you know, that's going out there. A big part of the reason is simply because lack of confidence says, oh, I don't dare talk to anyone unless there's a job posting. But when you do that, what you're getting and what you're relegating yourself to is day-old bread, and that's not
Yeah.
that's not likely to work for you. It's not likely to work for anyone.
And hence the hidden job market. I mean, really, as you just said, that disconnect that's taking place between the jobs that are out there and the people that are looking for the job. And certainly, we don't have time to really get into this, but certainly that digital side of things has made it different. Maybe easier, maybe harder, but it certainly has made it different. Anish, I know we've only just touched the surface, but I'm out of time, and I want to get everybody in touch with Anish Majumdar, career coach and expert in the hidden job market. I know, Anish, you have been published all over the place. Very easy to find you when people search for you, but let's get people over to your website so they can start that conversation about how they can set themselves up for their success, either in the hiring or in the job search process. How can we get in touch?
Well, helloanish.com would be HQ for people who are curious based on what we've been talking about here and want to go in deeper. I am very, very excited. Anyone who's excited to jump into this, I want to start showing people what's really out there. LinkedIn is also another place. If you put in the word Anish and you put in the word career, probably not a lot of 6'1" brown guys specializing in this right now. Definitely give it a shot.
Anish, really appreciate the conversation. I've learned a lot, and I cannot wait until our next conversation. I'll post some of our resources that we just talked about on my website, shalomklein.com. But Anish, thank you so much for joining us. After this quick break, I'll be joined by Stuart Lichtman as we continue our conversation all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.